Welcome to a beautiful morning's POTA, Parks on the Air. This is a relatively new site, walking through the village of Rosleston in South Derbyshire in the UK, through to what's called the Strawberry Fields. And thank you to Paul from the POTA team for registering this site, and well done to G0HIO who got in before me. So there's the setup, IC705, running SDR with FT8. We'll come to FT8 in a little bit. See another view, and there it's set up on the iPad. Right, I'm wearing a hat that my wife doesn't like me wearing. I got it from TK Maxx. If you haven't got TK Maxx in your country, oh, you're missing out. It's a surprise at every visit. Obviously, this hat was a surprise to my wife. Anyway, there's the antenna set up. That's an M1 ECC coil on the tripod with the 5.6 meter AliExpress whip, tuned into 14 megs. And this is a brand new POTA site, which is GB4752. We're just activating it. I'm activating on FT8. Now, a lot of people go, oh, Dave, why do you do FT8? Oh my God, that isn't amateur radio. And I thought that when I came back into the hobby. And do you know what? I don't really care what you think, because if you think about it, you do normal QSO on an SSB activation, CQ, G0OES, Parks on the Air, QRZ. People come back and you get the sorts of rhythm, and you know people's what, which is lovely. It's a very personal bit to it, but you've got to battle with the noise and all that sort of stuff. CW, it's almost like a digital response on CW. You think about the string you do on a CW, just think about that string. It's like a string of data. Yeah, it's great, it's lovely, it involves a skill. A lot of people just tippity-tappity into their keyboards nowadays. FT8 is sort of thing that adds that dynamic of programming. Now, I use SDR control software, which I think is amazing with the ICOM. And let me just show you the sort of things that are going on this screen at the moment, activating this new POTA. Right, a little bit about the setup. So there we have the IC705 in its tactical box. So I love this, it's amazing. There we have the TP-Link, which is the access point, the little Belkin charger. So that gives me connectivity from here to the iPad using the SDR control software. And there's my ICOM go bag as well, which is great. And I've got cables and all sorts in that, and even go along where I need it. And over there is the antenna. 8 ground radials, and more on that in the end when I do a quick pack up. What I wanted to show you is just the huge benefit of using the SDR control software. See, connecting to my access point, which is that little TP-Link. I've checked the DHCP settings on the IC705 through the settings. Lots of videos of people have covered that. If you want me to cover it, just drop me a note in the comments. But what I've going to do is make sure they get that connection, because sometimes if it's changed just by one, the little IP address, then you can't connect. Now what I'm doing is going into the tools in SDR software, which is one of its immensely strong points. It's got many. I could just click on the band, where I need for FT8, which is on 20 meters, 14 megs. I can then just click on the RX button top left, and what it starts doing, it starts telling me what's appearing in the waterfall. So you'll see in a second, go on the waterfall, you can actually see all the different amateurs listed. But the first thing to do is to go into the logbook and ensure that I've got my park settings in there, the GB reference, in this case GB4752. So that's a previous park activated. So what I'm going to do is enter those in there, and that what means is when I finish and I upload my file to the POTA, POTA.app website, POTA app website, the people who have hunted me are credited with contacting me for the awards, and also I'm also credited for activating the park in the ranking. So, you know, it's like all these different things. It's a bit like collecting Green Shield stamps, or even more expensive penny blacks or whatever. We all like to collect as humans. This is a way of staying motivated doing this. So otherwise, what's the point? So other people around the world are hunting you, and you are giving them somewhere to hunt, effectively using radio frequency signals, RF. And that's it. So straight away, go in, and then I call CQ. And what I'll share with a little bit of nuggets I learned off other people who do POTA through videos on here, which is fabulous. You see, straight away, started making contacts, and within a short period of time, there's the waterfall, short period of time, I was able to contact both Belize and Australia. In fact, the guy from Belize was so keen, he contacted me through the activation 3 times, which was wonderful. But anyway, so yeah, so this is just showing you. So green are people I've not worked before, so you can put that in your settings so they show up. So if you want to click on those and contact them, but I was calling CQ, and what I've gone and done as well, listed myself on the POTA app as a spot, and then other people will start spotting you, and then people start coming to look for you because they'll see that G0OES is at a POTA spot 4752, only the second time it's ever been activated, and he's on FT8, and they'll come and they'll click on and they will try and make contact with me. And if you think, what's the point of this FT8, bearing on what I've said already, it all operates in poor band conditions. I've personally found that where you can see on that list there above, under the RX list, you've got a minus number. I'm pretty successful down to about minus 25. If somebody signals worse than minus 25, so this is well in the noise, I struggle a little bit with my POTA setup. Otherwise, you do very well, but it's all dependent on band conditions. What's worth mentioning here, though I haven't already, you can see I'm contacting the station here in Belize. We're having a QSO with the software, so it goes through the script. Remember what I said about, for example, when you have a Morse QSO, largely, particularly if you're doing DX and you're calling out and you're working a number of stations, for example, you're a special event station, in this case you're a POTA station, and people are after contacting you, it goes through a script, and FT8 goes through a script with them, and this is done for you. And it's done, that auto button at the top does it all, and then it auto logs, it completes the logbook, which is absolutely flipping fabulous. And so you sit there making your contacts, and you will have seen before, I've flashed the logbook up. All those people that you've had a QSO with on FT8 go into the logbook. And also with this, if you're doing CW, you can enter stuff in the logbook yourself into this logbook. And if you're doing SSB using SDR control software, and you think, well, I might as well just pick up the microphone on my IC705, but you can use your headset and go through the iPad to the 705 and use the logbook to log, and then just export the file at the end. So you can use it for not just FT8. Got to play you this. This is the ghost in the machine. If any of you are old enough to remember on the shortwave bands, the HF bands, Piccolo, which was the blight of the role I did for the Radio Society of Great Britain, RSGB at the time, which is running the monitoring service with a group of brilliant volunteers, we used to get this sound, and it's the sound of the secret services around the world. And I used to think, wouldn't it be marvellous if we had that technology? Well, it seems like we have now. Have a listen to this. So you can see, there I am, working in several countries. I need 10 for an activation, so thank you very much for those people who are making the effort at the moment to contact me and looking on the POTA app site. And I'll do a little thing there to show how you're activated and you're spotted on the video. But look, this is really relaxing. It's lovely. There's nobody about. It's about 8 o'clock UST in the morning on a Monday. And, we're doing amateur radio. We're not just sitting at home getting frustrated in a pile-up, which I did at the weekend, and I wondered why. And, this is just lovely. It really is lovely. Enjoy. Okay, just show you this, something I use, which is great for looking at activations, see who's out there. Not just for POTA, but it's POTA, SOTA, WWFF, GMA, IOTA, castles, mills, lighthouses on the air, all those sort of things, whether on phone, CW or digital, and whichever band they're on, it's all on there. And you can use this website, so Field Spotter Radio, go on the website, you'll have a look at there. So it's not just the POTA app, which is really good anyway for looking at activations and spots and things like that and hunting people down, but also this as well. And it just shows you which bands people are using as well, and even propagation. You can't beat it, can you? Here's a quick demo of the POTA app showing the park I was activating and my nemesis G0HIO who gets in to activate them before me. And I was just talking about castles on the air, COTA. You can see somebody, I don't bother putting in POTA G0ES, perhaps I should do on here, but that chap has done it here, and I actually eventually managed to contact him at the end of this, so I've started my journey on COTAs. Whether it's going to be a big thing, I don't know, but it was just quite interesting seeing him there. He's putting out lots of shouts, so he deserved a call back. It's a bit of a reciprocal thing, really. So here you can see at the bottom of the screen, this is me having a successful QSO with the chap, which is marvellous in Italy, and I get one more contact for my
POTA activation, and he gets one for his COTA. So all you do when you're at the bottom of the screen is what I call the CQ zone, where you click on the CQ and the machine starts CQing for you until you get a contact. And at the top, you can hunt people down. So for example, somebody's green, you just double click on them on your iPad, or probably one click, and it starts going through the script of trying to contact them. So you can work both ways. You can either hunt people, or you can activate by doing CQ below. So you think all activating is CQing, and all hunting is well, trying to make contact with people. In this case, more importantly, people who are, if you've been hunting, people who are in parks. Now, sometimes you do get contacted by people on FT8, it's hard to tell, SSB and also CW miles easier, if it's what's called park to park, which is, for example, me contacting somebody who's calling out because they're operating from a park. And that's where I use Field Spotter Radio to look what frequencies are on, to see if I can see people. And if it's FT8, I see if I can see them in the list. Sometimes things don't go to plan and you get a crash where the software disconnects from your radio. You just go back through the same routine as before, everything I did before, and you just reconnect again, and you're off. And you'll see what it does here is it picks up a QSO that I was part way through, which is very helpful. If you do like sitting at home and pile-ups and stuff like that, honestly, if it's your thing, it's fine. But these are the sort of things you see when you're sitting there on a Parks on the Air, Summits on the Air, wherever activation. There's a muntjac. Somebody says, "Is it a baby?" No, it's a full-grown one. It's about the same size as a small female Hungarian Vizsla dog. So there you go, sort of things you see, which is fantastic, isn't it? And you see even more than that. Interesting. Even see some humans. Okay, the business end. M1 ECC coil, AliExpress whip. Set to 7 megs, interestingly, with this coil to get to 14 megs. Anyway, that's that. There's the clips that I've featured on a TikTok. I think I've got them on a YouTube short as well. Have a look at HOA Ham's channel on YouTube, because he goes into this in more detail. I've got wing nuts there, so I'm getting 2 on each of the crocodile clips and 2 on the wing nuts. Don't like the wing nuts bit, you know what my thoughts on this, massive faff. But it's these cables I need to change. These cables are far too stiff. I just made the wrong choice, my fault. All I want is silicon coated cables that spool out miles easier. And remember, I'm still getting round to getting a 3D printed, must get onto that today, 3D printed winder for each of these. So it just makes packing up and also, more importantly, activating just a far quicker process. Righty, we're at the end of the activation. It looks horrible there, but those are allotments. Anyway, so get to a better angle so it looks a little bit better for you. Anyway, we're at the end of the activation. The more than double what I needed to do to get this POTA activated. And my stupid ad. Thanks ever so much for watching. Comments down below, subscribe, all that sort of stuff that people beg for, but it's nice that we can sort of grow this and do more interesting stuff for you. But what do you want to see? Because, you know, I don't know about you, I'm just not interested anymore. I keep trying it, just sitting on my balance ball in the office, chasing DX on a radio, and you think of all the things you could have done. We've been out in nature, we've seen muntjac and people doing DIY and parrots in somebody's garden, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, you see life, and oh crikey, more contacts coming in on the screen after I had a little bit of a failure, as you've probably seen in the video. Anyway, it's come back on last minute, but I think it's given me a nudge of the radio, so take me home, Dave, get me charged up. So this is Dave G0ES 73s. Thanks for watching. Bye now.